Hey everyone, you're here because you want to get right to what matters, understand things quickly, not get totally bogged down, and that is exactly what this deep dive is for. We've got a really fascinating scenario today, pulled straight from our source text, The Dawn of Equinox.
hmm
Get ready, because we're exploring a truly transformative event here.
Yeah, absolutely. We're diving into Kavunda. It's described as a small African nation, often overlooked, that has this sudden, really profound shift. And it's all because of contact with an advanced alien civilization. They're called the architects. So we've basically gone through the text, looked at the details of this encounter, the ripple effects. Our mission today, pull out the key stuff, understand what it means for Kavunda, for the world, and really dig into the questions this whole thing raises about progress, dependence, that sort of thing.
Okay, so let's paint the picture. The Dawn of Equinox introduces Kavunda.
Right.
The text says it's tucked away between the mighty Congo River and dense ancient rainforests. Okay. So a place that's kind of been off the global radar for years, rich in resources apparently, but dealing with, ongoing poverty, instability. Then, late October, boom, something lights up the sky. People see what they assume is a meteor.
Right, but this was definitely not your average meteor shower. The text says this object slows down, actually pauses midair, and then makes a controlled landing deep in the jungle. And that single event, well, that's the catalyst for everything that follows. Kavunda's whole world is about to change.
So the next day, right, a Kavundan team goes in. Scientists, officials, and what they find is, well, it sounds like pure sci-fi, this advanced alien craft, nothing like anything on Earth. Then a door opens and they meet Fayer. The text describes this being translucent skin that seemed to subtly shimmer. Wild. And the communication. It's not spoken. It resonates inside their minds. Fayer offers assistance. Says they're the architects. Talk about a first contact scenario.
Absolutely. I mean, that communication method alone just instantly shows the incredible gap in technology, doesn't it? And that offer assistance
Okay.
sounds generous, right? But it kind of sets the stage for a really complex relationship down the line.
Oh, definitely. And assistance is putting it mildly. It's not like one little gadget. The architects hand over this whole suite of technologies, stuff that could literally remake their society. We're talking, the Equinox device sounds small, but harnesses ambient energy, limitless clean power. Just imagine. Then there's advanced farming techniques, making unusable land fertile, medical tech curing diseases, ways to clean up the environment. It's everything all at once.
Exactly. For a nation like Kavunda, struggling with basic things, energy, food, health, this is like jumping forward centuries overnight. Clean energy transforms infrastructure. New farming solves food security. Medical advances improve lives dramatically. It's a complete reset of their future possibilities.
And the text makes it clear the impact is immediate. You can see it. Kavunda goes from being, obscure to this shining example of progress. Modern cities popping up, powered by clean energy, barren lands blooming, people getting healthier. It almost sounds too perfect, like a utopia built in fast forward.
Which, yeah, immediately makes you think, right, can progress that fast, driven from the outside, actually last? Are there hidden costs, risks nobody's seeing yet? But initially, the rest of the world isn't thinking about philosophy. Their reaction is more like, uh-oh.
You nailed it. News of Kavunda just explodes globally. The big players, US, China, Russia, they see this, and they see a threat to the status quo. Suddenly, this small African nation has tech far beyond anything they possess. So emergency meetings happen, diplomats are scrambling. How do we get access to this? What does this mean for us?
Well, yeah, that diplomatic rush is totally predictable. Everyone wants in. Everyone wants that connection to the architect's tech. But Kavunda, led by Prime Minister Nicola, takes this really interesting stance, maybe a bit idealistic. Nicola addresses the UN, talks about cooperation, wanting to share the benefits with everyone.
Which sounds great, very noble, but maybe a little naive, because not everyone buys it. A group of Western powers, feeling like their dominance is threatened, they start covert ops. The text mentions cyber attacks trying to mess with Kavunda's new systems, disinformation campaigns too, trying to paint Kavunda as just, an alien puppet state. Classic geopolitical power plays, fear driving the response.
It really does shine a light on that ingrained mistrust in international relations, doesn't it? The competition. Established powers aren't just going to sit back and watch the whole world map change. And that puppet state idea, it's an old trick. Undermine their legitimacy, make everyone else doubt them.
But it's not just external pressure, right? There's trouble brewing inside Kavunda too. A resistance group pops up, the Sons of Equinox, led by Tariq Mosi. And they are deeply suspicious of the architects, their motives. Their big worry is losing Kavundan identity. becoming too dependent on this alien tech, losing their culture, their self-reliance. Musi has this quote in the text, it's powerful. We have lost our identity. We no longer think for ourselves. We are slaves to their gifts. Really makes you stop and think.
It really does. It's such a vital counter-narrative to just, wow, progress is great. Okay, most people are probably seeing real benefits, sure, better lives. But the Sons of Equinox ask that fundamental question. What's the real price of this progress? How do you protect who you are when something so powerful comes from outside? Are you even independent if your whole life depends on tech you didn't create?
And they don't just talk, they act. They start sabotaging the Equinox devices, the power source for everything. But this backfires. Badly. The text calls the consequences unintended and catastrophic. Power grids fail, the advanced farms collapse, diseases come back. Suddenly, Kavunda is on the edge of falling apart, the complete opposite of that utopia they thought they were building.
It's a dramatic collapse. And it just highlights how vulnerable their dependence made them. They hadn't had time to really integrate this stuff, to understand it fully on their own terms. Pulling the plug like that just causes chaos. It's a stark lesson about embracing change too fast, maybe, without building the internal strength to handle it.
So total crisis. Prime Minister Nicolai goes back to Ver, and Ver's response is, interesting, the text says a mix of sadness and resolve. Ver tells Nicolai, we've given you the tools to thrive, but you must learn to wield them responsibly. It's almost like a disappointed teacher, but one who hasn't given up yet.
Exactly. It suggests the architects weren't just trying to hand out freebies. Maybe the goal was deeper, to spark real growth, real learning. Ver's comment implies that true progress isn't passive. You can't just receive it. You have to learn it, use it, make it your own.
So their solution is, the trial of sovereignty. The architects basically say, right, we're turning off the Equinox devices, now you rebuild on your own. Use your own resources, your own brains, whatever you've learned from us, they'll watch. And if Kavunda succeeds, they earn their right to self-determination. But if they fail, the architects leave, and it's like none of this ever happened. The stakes are unbelievably high.
Unbelievably high. It's like throwing them in the deep end, a forced march towards self-sufficiency, designed to make Kavunda face its dependence head-on and maybe find its own strength again. And the conditions are brutal. Power shortages, food scarcity, unrest. It's a massive test for the whole society.
And then here's another twist. The Sons of Equinox, the saboteurs, right? They actually step up. They start leading rebuilding efforts. They're pushing for sustainable methods, using local stuff, finding solutions that fit Kavunda, not just copying alien tech. It's a total image change for them.
It's a remarkable turnaround, isn't it? From villains to, well, architects of recovery, but in a totally different sense. Their original warnings about being too dependent, now those ideas become the blueprint for rebuilding. They kind of understood the dangers all along, even if their first actions were, let's say, extreme and caused huge problems.
And slowly, really slowly and painfully, Kavunda starts to pull itself back together. Communities cooperate, share what little they have. They start developing their own tech, inspired by the architect's gifts, sure, but adapted, made to fit their own needs, their own place. It feels much more organic this time, ground up.
Yeah, that struggle, that period of relying on themselves, that's absolutely key. That's when the knowledge really sinks in. They build real sustainable skills. The solutions they create now are born from their own needs, their own reality. That makes them much stronger in the long run.
So the trial ends. Ver comes back, and they talk to Ninkle, and they acknowledge what Kavunda achieved. Ver says, you have shown resilience. You have proven that you can thrive without our assistance. That must have felt like vindication, hard-earned.
It's the ultimate validation, really. They were given these amazing tools, yes, but they proved that real strength, real sovereignty, isn't just about having fancy tech. It's about the ability to survive, to innovate, to push forward, using your own grit.
And Ginkel gives this speech to the nation, really lays it out. The choice, go back to depending on the architect's tech or forge their own future. And Kavunda chooses self-reliance, to be defined by their own actions, not by gifts from aliens.
It's them taking control, saying, okay, we learned a lot, that knowledge is valuable, but our future is ours to build. True independence comes from within, from their own ability to solve problems.
And then the architects do one last thing. It's pretty symbolic. They turn the Equinox devices back on one last time. Not as a crutch, the text implies, but more like a symbol of Kavunda's independence, their potential. Then they leave. But they leave the knowledge behind. It feels like a real handover.
It really does. That power coming back on isn't about going back to dependency. It's about unlocking Kavunda's own future. Now that they've learned the hard lessons, they have the knowledge foundation, but critically, they now have the self-reliance to use it their way.
And the story ends with Kavunda rising, becoming prominent, not through power or money in the usual sense, but through its strength, its ingenuity, its determination. And the whole world is watching them now, maybe learning something too. It's
Yeah.
quite the turnaround.
It's a really compelling story, isn't it? Gets into all the messy parts of progress, what sovereignty really means. Kavunda's whole arc just shows that real advancement isn't just about getting cool tech. It's about adapting, innovating, and ultimately choosing your own path.
So wrapping up this deep dive on the dawn of Equinox, the big takeaway for you listening, Kavunda's story is this powerful look at how tempting rapid progress is, but also the hidden dangers of depending too much on outside help, and how crucial self-determination is, especially when you face something or someone so transformative from the outside.
Yeah, and it leaves you with some big questions, doesn't it? Like, what does it actually mean for a society to advance? Is faster always better? Or do you risk losing your identity, your ability to stand on your own 2 feet? And what responsibility comes with getting powerful new tools wherever they come from?
Exactly. Kavunda's journey from this overlooked nation to this independent, respected power, all driven by their own choices. After this incredible encounter, it really gives us a lot to chew on, thinking about progress and the strength that comes from deciding your own future. Thanks for diving deep with us today.